Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another Chiefs Corner. Have a very, very special guest today that we're excited to have a great conversation with. Senior Airman Anthony Sierra from the 315th Cyber Operations Squadron.
Hey, good morning, Chief.
Airman
Happy to be
Sierra.
here.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. How are you? How's life?
Good, Chief. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Hey, I am so thankful and grateful to borrow a few minutes of your time to have a conversation. I know you and I we've been trying to sync up for a few weeks now. You've been exceptionally busy. You got a lot of great things going on. You're doing great things for our nation. But thankfully, the stars align, and I think this morning you and we have a few minutes together to chat on today's podcast.
Yeah, definitely happy that our schedules aligned for this. Definitely just happy to be here this morning.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, so before we jump in it and just getting a chance to understand who you are, I just want to let everybody know you are one of our outstanding airmen that we have in the 67 Cyberspace Wing. So Senior Airman Anthony Sierra, who serves up at Fort Meade and the 315th Cyber Operations Squadron. But that does great things for our wing, for our Air Force, and certainly for U.S. Cyber Command. But I got a chance to meet you a couple of months ago. We were at our annual awards ceremony for the wing. And in the ceremony, when you were recognized as being our Airman of the Year, which is a huge honor, and definitely looking forward to talking to you about that. You gave this inspiring and kind of motivational speech, and it was awesome. It was so perfect. Like your words and your comments that you gave were so perfect that everybody in the audience thought, hey, this is scripted. Somebody gave Airman Sierra this kind of, perfect speech, but it turned out this was just you on the cuff. And, you didn't know if you were going to win, but, in that moment of time, you just kind of embraced the opportunity to share with everybody what that moment was like for you. And it was very motivational. And I was talking to my wife, Cassie, afterwards. I was had her at the event with me. And she talked about all the speakers we had, all the words that were said, but by far and away, the best words of the night were from Airman Sierra. So just excited to now, a few months after that great opportunity to recognize you, to get to know you just a little bit more. And if you wouldn't mind, could you share just a little bit about your background and what led you to join the Air Force?
Of course. So I'm originally from upstate New York in Poughkeepsie, New York. And what led me to the Air Force was one of my high school teachers. So I originally went to a technical training school to become a police officer. And my teacher there had spent around 20 years in the Army. So every single year he made us take the why do I forget the name of it?
Is it the
ASVAB.
Yeah.
Yes. Excuse me. Yes, the ASVAB. He made us take that every year. And he said, doesn't matter if you're thinking about joining the military or not, you should always at least try your hardest on it. So I took it and I got a decent score on it. And he said, I think you really should take this to a recruiter. And when I was in school, I always tell people that I was never a straight A student. I actually failed a couple classes in school. I was definitely in the wrong place around some of the wrong people. I was someone that was slipping through the cracks, I would say. But this teacher, he definitely inspired me, and he looked past what I had been doing and the mistakes I'd made, and he still put trust in me and still believed that I could do the best I could do. So I went to the recruiter, I showed him the score, and from there it was history. I joined the Air Force. I was shaped throughout the people I had met, through the training I had taken, through all the experiences that the Air Force has provided me. And now I would like to say that I'm in a much better place and I'm doing the right thing.
Awesome. Wow. Yeah, no, Airman's here. Thanks for sharing that. It definitely is something that resonates with me. In an earlier part of my life, I kind of found myself around people that weren't the greatest people in the world. But it's funny how when you kind of remove yourself from that environment and maybe put yourself around people that are better, how that can kind of change the course of your trajectory. I'm so grateful for your teacher, certainly, his service to his country, but how he instilled that kind of spark in you that at least interested you to want to learn more, and kind of led you on your path to a recruiter and to the Air Force. So why'd you pick the Air Force and not one of the other services?
So it was my teacher and my uncle. They were both in the Army, um, both around the time of Iraq and Afghanistan, and they both had some experiences they weren't too happy of around there. Um, so they always told me, hey, if you're going to join a branch, of course, make your own decision. But Air Force was always the one that was recommended to me. It was always the quality of life, the quality of training, the people in the force itself. It was all around, just like they said, it was much better from all their experiences they had with the Air Force.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, great words of wisdom by two who served in a different service. Much like your teacher and your uncle, my father was in the Army, and he's also the one who encouraged me to join the Air Force. It's great advice you and I both got, and I'm thankful for you, and certainly picking the Air Force was a big win for us. So you picked the Air Force, and then the career field that you serve in today is 1N4 X1 Alpha, so a cyber intelligence analyst. So what led you to becoming a cyber intel analyst, and how has your journey unfolded so far today?
So originally, like I said, I wanted to be a police officer, and that's what I was going to join the Air Force to be. Until a lot of people who I've been talking to said, "I don't think you should do that. You already had a background with computers." I was on a computer a lot during my life. I helped around the house with our computer issues. I'd taken a couple classes. They suggested me to do that, and I also wanted to be a drone operator at one point. I thought that would have been a really cool career to go down, but at the time there was no real, like, drones had just been started out in the commercial side. So everybody I talked to was like, well, what would you do when you got out? What would that lead to? And then I began to look at the 1 and 4 side, and I saw the clearance opportunity. I saw the emerging cyber domain. I was swayed to it because I was ready to do 4 years in the Air Force and then get out and get a civilian job. But my experiences here, all the people I've seen, all the things that I do, it's led me to a purpose of wanting to re-enlist and continue my career in the Air Force. So I would definitely say this career was a good choice for me.
Yeah, you're absolutely crushing it. It was a great choice. Our nation, our military, we rely on cyber. Cyber is integral to every part of war fighting. It's a domain of its own, but it's certainly one that's interlinked with all the other warfighting domains. And to be a cyber intel analyst, I mean, that is critically important. We see it in our wing, the importance of what you do, but just on behalf of your teacher, your uncle, all your family and your friends, we're just so exceptionally proud of you. And we got to see it up close here in the wing when you were named the Airman of the Year for the 67th Cyberspace Wing. What did that recognition mean to you in that moment in time when you found out you were the winner at the wing level? And then here very recently, you won again at the combatant command level. You're the U.S. Cyber Command Enterprise Annual Award winner as a Cyber Intel Analyst of the Year for all the joint forces. So Air Force, Navy, Army, Marine Corps, Space Force. You're the top junior enlisted in cyber. What has all that meant to you?
It means more than the world. Being able to be recognized as the best of the best, it has opened a lot of opportunities for me. I've been able to speak to our future operators out there in Texas. I've been able to share my experiences on this podcast, as well as around the Fort Meade area. I have taught some of our future over at the high school here who are ready to do cyber when they join the workforce. It really means the most to me because I am able to share my experience. I am able to share what I know, what I've learned, and what I recommend to people. I've talked to my friends back in New York and I've said, hey, I think you should join the Air Force and this, and this, all the opportunities that we get. I think it would be a great fit for you. And they've taken to that and they've gone into cyber and intel career fields and they love it. It's definitely just been that the recognition is great and all the hard work that not only myself but my team has put in for me to be here is immense. The 10, 12 plus hour work days that we've put in, it's undeniably like my team has gotten me here. So to be able to pay it forward and help the new members of my team that have just joined, and I've been able to steer some of them in the right direction of, hey, I think you should be looking at college. You know, you have 4 years plus in the Air Force. You should be taking advantage of your time. I think being around our top leadership and the other winners at the wing level they've really shown me like, hey, you need to be not only doing the best that you can, but making sure others around you are doing the best that they can as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, no, that's amazing. I just really appreciate you kind of giving, all the credit to all the team that you have and those that are around you. And, I remember early on in my career, big mentor of mine kind of let me know, hey, Lance, your name might be on the trophy, but there's a team of people that got you there. And I can see that's a big part of the belief that you have and something you embrace. And now that you're instilling into the next generation, and then hearing that you're spending time, after all the long hours and the mission, you're devoting your off time to kind of pour into the next generation who are going to come up behind us. And there's so many great ways to do that. But being in the high schools, instilling some of those skills and talents that you have to kind of help develop it, and those that are coming up next is pretty awesome. I love all the core values, integrity, service, excellence, but in regards to the excellence that you do every day, how do you stay motivated? How do you continue striving for excellence in everything that you do?
It came from one of my MTIs in basic, actually. And it's a bit of a hard statement to swallow, but I think it rings true in everything that we do. He told everybody in our flight, if you don't do your job correctly, you'll kill somebody. And that's definitely a very out there statement, but it's true. If you are not just a person typing on a keyboard, you are not just a person turning a wrench, you're doing it for the United States of America. And every single day, no matter if you think it or not, you are defending all of our troops, all of our citizens from past, present, and future. If you do not pour in 110% effort, somebody will end up dying. And that's what does motivate me every single day, is when I sit down and I pour everything that I can into work, I think, if I don't try my hardest, there's a good chance that somebody could end up dead because of it. And that's really what keeps me going every single day, that the work that I do is very meaningful, very impactful, and it changes the world.
Yeah, I'm getting chills hearing you talk, just how inspiring you are. And it's stuff that really resonates deeply with me. And in my mind, I think that it's easy to get on board and be excited about those, critical parts of our job and our mission that everybody relies upon. But, sometimes when it comes to the little things in life, maybe, it's you looking back on my own career, it was easier for me to not put as much of an emphasis on that. But you clearly display excellence in all you do, those very big, important tasks, but also the ones that are trivial and maybe the ones that we do every day. And I think that's what has continued to help you stand apart as being an outstanding airman. And we're just so grateful. When we put these podcasts out there, there's others in the wing, and oftentimes we get reflections that outside of the wing people are watching these, and I'm convinced that there's an airman out there that's going to watch this. They're also, just like me, they're also going to find you to be very motivating. What advice would you give to other airmen that are striving to excel, like you've demonstrated?
I would say take every opportunity given to you. That is something that a lot of my mentors have taught me. Is I've looked at the training that my unit has provided. I've looked at the roles that I've been able to put in, and sometimes I've thought I should turn this down. There's other people that will benefit better from it, or there's other people that are more qualified for this. But you always look and you see, like, I need to be looking out for myself as well as others. When you see a training opportunity that comes up, even if it doesn't seem like it applies to what you're doing right now, eventually down the road, they'll be like, we need somebody who knows how to do this, or we need somebody who has seen this in the wild, right? We need somebody who's taken this class. And you can put your hand up and say, hey, I've done that. And not only are you going to look good in front of the people that require you during that critical moment, but you're also going to have a breadth of knowledge that when you eventually do exit the Air Force, you'll have just another bullet on your resume and just another possible position that you could fill. Another tip of advice I would say is, and a lot of other leaders will echo this, you work for the Air Force, but make the Air Force work for you. You look at your opportunities of college, $4,500 a year in tuition assistance. You need to be taking advantage of that. You look at the TSP. I put 65% of my paycheck away in my TSP. And I don't expect everybody to be able to do the same depending on financial constraints, but take advantage of this, because when you're out and you're 60, 65 years old and you have no retirement fund, you're going to regret not putting away a little bit of extra money to protect not only yourself, but your family in the future. So definitely think in the now, but always have the bigger picture in mind as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I wish I could go back in time and then just, try to convince you to be my best friend and follow you around, because I know I'd have a super successful, PSP for one, but also just in general, I waited too long to start school. I waited too long to invest, but you get it. You clearly get it. You're getting it at the most important time of this incredible journey that you're on from the beginning, and I really appreciate this journey you're on. And I'd love to ask, when you think about, where you want to go in your career, looking ahead, 5 to 10 years from now, is there any specific career or personal goals that you hope to achieve?
Well, one of the goals I would like to achieve is becoming a member of our special operations. That's their mission, their culture, everything about how they conduct their operations is what I would like to be a part of. So I would definitely like to join one of those units. And I would also like to see myself become a warrant officer sometime in the future. As soon as that had opened for the Air Force, the opportunity had opened, it was something I immediately wanted to jump on, but due to rank and time constraints, I couldn't. So looking at the current packages that go up and comparing myself to what I have now compared to them, that's definitely a goal that I'm working towards, to eventually join our elite warrant officers in the Air Force.
Yeah. I think you nailed it by characterizing them as elite. We're excited in the 67 Cyberspace wing. The largest number of warrants have come to the 67th compared to the rest of the Air Force, and we're very fortunate, but also very critically, manned in a way where we're relying upon them for that technical integration that they're going to provide, that credible advice, and the utmost, that professional war fighting that they're going to deliver. And I love the fact that just warrant has the word war in it, because they're going to be critically important to our mission should we ever be called upon to go to fight our nation's wars. But special operations is also incredibly awesome too. And both of those, I think, is probably a good way to describe it, is being elite. And you're certainly that now. I know you're a senior airman today, but I have no doubt you're going to be an NCO here real soon. Fingers crossed. This coming cycle that I know you recently accomplished your WAPS test. But fingers crossed at the Air Force. We get another win on the horizon, and you're a staff sergeant select here real soon. As we kind of wrap up this podcast today, I'd love to offer you a chance to give a shout out to anybody who's supported you on this incredible journey that you've been on so far.
So of course my unit, every single person in there has been a member of my journey in some way. I love my unit. But the two main mentors that I've had on my Air Force journey is my OpCon supervisor, CWT1 Rojas. He is an amazing individual. He trained up half of the CNMF forces that we have today. They are, I would say, when he leaves the service, it'll be a great detriment to our training over there in the CNMF. But I know somebody will soon pick up his slack. Another one of my great mentors, I would have to say, is the 315th SCL, Chief Lowe. I cannot count the amount of times that I've had to write down something he said, or I've been in his office and we've just been talking about the future and the operations that we're doing. And I've just been like, wow, I need to be taking advice from him. I need to be just trying to model myself around him, because he is an amazing individual. He's an amazing member of this Air Force, and I am so glad to have the opportunity to meet him.
Yeah, awesome. I'm grateful that you gave a shout out to your CW2, who's been incredible for you and so many others. And the one great thing I've come to learn in my couple of years in the Air Force and serving in joint capacities is there's great leaders like that who do a phenomenal job at training the next generation. I think he's been doing that with you and a lot of others like you. So that way, whenever he transitions on to what other opportunities in life that may come, he'll leave a great team behind to kind of take the baton and move forward. Thanks for giving that shout out to Chief Lowe. He's a mentor of mine too, and I think every time I get a chance to be in a room with him is an opportunity I gain more than I ever give. He's a great leader, a great chief, and we learn a lot from him in the time that he's been in your unit and certainly our wing. Last opportunity, want to offer it up to you if there's any final words of wisdom or encouragement that you'd like to share before we wrap this podcast
up. Just a few. Mainly, again, try 110% in everything you can. You never know what opportunity. It may seem small now, but when you put in that effort and you stand above the rest, you never know how far that opportunity will go. Another thing, of course, I'd love to harp on, make the Air Force work for you. Always take advantage of the amazing benefits that we've been afforded here. And I guess my final thing that I would like to say is always try to operate above the grade that you're in right now. I would say the reason that I am able to be winning at this level is because I compare myself to people who are above me. I occasionally will ask NCOs, SNCOs, hey, can I see the awards package that you put up that won? And I'll take a look at the bullets and I'll say, okay, I think I could do something similar to this. Or as a E4, I don't have all these opportunities that you have, but I would like to try and emulate that the best I can. So when I look at my packages that I put up and I look at the work that I'm doing, I don't say, well, I'm doing senior airman work. I try and say, well, I'm emulating a staff sergeant. I'm emulating a technical sergeant, a master sergeant. And when you have that mindset, that's what really helps you stand out above your peers, is that you are not operating at E4 level. You're operating at E5, E6 level. So always strive for that if you are looking to win and have doors open for yourself in the future.
Awesome. Wow. Yeah. So just grateful for the time that you shared with us today here on this podcast. Senior Airman Anthony Sierra, You mentioned the word elite. You are one of the elite airmen in the 67 Cyberspace Wing. You're one of the elite airmen in the Cyber National Mission Force. As a proud member, you are of the 315th Cyber Operations Squadron, the Dragons, who are pretty cool and pretty awesome in what you do. It was so great to see you recognized and to get that recognition you deserve at the wing level, but also for the CNMF as a Cyber Analyst of the Year at the Combatant Command level. You're an all-star, and I'm just grateful that you're in this wing, and I'm grateful that you're in our Air Force. So thanks for being on the Chiefs Corner podcast today. Keep up the great work, and we're excited to see how your career continues to rise to the great hard work that you're putting in every single day. Keep up the great work.
Thank you for having me, Chief.
Awesome. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in to this outstanding Chiefs Corner podcast with the outstanding Senior Airman Anthony Sierra. Proud of him and proud of all he does every day for our Air Force. And as always, light him up.